everybody. Happy Friday. I'm going to be talking about Joe Biden, Mr. Communist China himself. And I'm going to play a little something for you. So listen carefully. I know some of you have heard this, but there's so much going on. We have to keep all this in the forefront because this is real. I've talked about this way before, that things are going to get really bad if President Trump wins. They're going to attack everybody. And even if Biden wins, it's going to be like that permanently. It's always going to be like that. A lot of people are going to die. I might even be one of them, so I'm kind of scared. And then they're going to try to come into your house with that social worker, or as at the real James Wood says, because he's an asshole. Excuse my language. That's what they want to do. They want to have somebody come in, and a doctor, and then they're biased, so they're going to say that you need to be taken away, and no one's going to hear from you again. And who knows if they're going to vaccinate you with something that's going to make you crazy, and then who knows what they're going to do. Use you for your organs, or who knows, put you in a FEMA camp, who knows, kill you, who knows. So here's a little something I'm going to play. And I'm going to be talking about, again, Biden says violence won't stop if Trump is reelected. And here he says it himself.
Does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected?
One more time.
Does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected?
Here again.
Does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected?
See? So, that is how it's going to be, whether Trump wins or not. They're gonna do everything they can to raise hell, burn down and destroy what they want, go after people they don't like and murder them. It's gonna be bad. And speaking of Biden saying violence won't stop if Trump wins the re-election, this is dated August 31st, 2020 by Tom Ozemick of the Epoch Times. So Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden said in a speech that if President Donald Trump wins re-election, the violence that has rocked the nation's streets won't stop. Well, no, because communist China and George Soros has already said they're going to fight like hell. They're going to use their little BLMs, and their Antifas. They're going to use everything they got to start burning down buildings. And I'm in Hollywood. The only good thing about being in Hollywood is that they're not going to burn down their very own buildings. Does that make sense? Hollywood may not own my building. Like, for instance, Scientology, like, their BML is not going to burn down the very people who are on their side, who have stuck with them through their criminality. So on one end, Hollywood may be a safe place to be. But is it going to be for me? I don't know. So in a counter message to the president's call for law and order in the wake of protests that have escalated, Biden accused Trump, whom he called an incumbent president who sows chaos. So guys, everything I'm about to say that Biden is accusing Trump of is exactly exactly what Biden and the communist Democrats are unleashing on our president. We got to remember, everything they accuse our president's family of doing, they're unleashing on our country, and they're accusing our president of doing the very thing George Soros has been doing to Americans. And also, a couple weeks when I got gang stalked, and I confronted my gang stalker, and I had my phone in my hand trying to record it, and my phone stops recording all of a sudden because they use cell phone jammers. And I told him, "You're following me. What are you doing here? You don't even live in this neighborhood." And I started calling out to one of the neighbors in the building. And he started like sounding this alarm. And that fucking stalker, paid communist, had the nerve to say to me, "You're racist." First he said, "Oh, are you Neighborhood Watch?" It's like, you look you BMLs, bullshit motherfuckers, excuse my language. This guy don't even live here. And when they're stalking you, they try to turn the tables around. And I said, "Yes, I am Neighborhood Watch." He's like, "Oh, well, you're racist." And so this is, you can't pull that racist card with me. It's not going to work with me. But anyways, this is when these criminals come after you, they're very scripted. When you have a problem with them tearing down and burning down their cities, their response is, "We're peaceful protesting and you're racist." And that's some bullshit right there. Excuse my language. It's you want to play the crazy card, but projecting is not going to get you anywhere. But the sad thing is the police allow this stuff over here, and they allow most of it to go on in the street because you have your governors and your mayors telling the cops just to allow it. In fact, I just want to make this point. Up the street at CVS, these members, these paid domestic terrorists, can go into CVS, steal what they want. They can steal what they want because I was in there when it happened. And I had to tell the manager. And the manager told me the police won't even come to do anything about it. These protesters, these paid domestic terrorists, know that they can walk because they get legal. These domestic terrorists have lawyers that are telling them what they can and can't do, what they can say and not say, how they can infringe on people, how much they can infringe on people and on businesses and get away with it. So CVS allows these domestic terrorists to take what they want and walk out, and the store can't do nothing. The store can't do nothing. So the manager at CVS told me that CVS plans just to raise the prices on the people. So, there you have it. So, back to this. Biden accused Trump, whom he called an incumbent president who sows chaos. We know it's the opposite. We know it's Biden and Soros and Obama and all you guys in Hollywood that are doing this. Chinese Communist Party. And Biden accused Trump of seeking to instill fear in America. No, we don't have, he's not instilling fear in nobody, because we can look around and see that you guys are tearing up the country with your fires and your climate change fires. While claiming that Trump's second term would see more violence roil the nation's streets. Does anyone believe there will be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected? Biden said during the August 31st speech in Pittsburgh, and I'll play it one more time.
Does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected?
So Biden said he can't stop the violence because for years he has fomented it. Anyways, Biden denounced Trump's tough on crime messaging as lip service and accused the president of failing to call on his own supporters to stop acting as an armed militia in this country. So again, when Biden says something like this and accuses our president and us of being like this, it's not us, it's Biden. They love doing that. Cities across America erupted in protests after the police custody death of George Floyd, and in many cases then exploded into violence. Biden, in his remarks, echoed the rhetoric of other Democrats in seeking to blame Trump for the unrest, while Trump and Republicans have highlighted the protest-related violence as examples of what the country would look like under Biden administration. And I said that a long time ago. It's not only going to be status quo, but they're going to be pulling people out of their apartments, out of their homes that they don't like, that they're going to target. And you're going to have to go away with them. You're going to be taken away because they're going to have their little doctors say, oh no, you're crazy. Oh, you're overreacting. We got to take you in. That's what they're going to be doing. It's going to be so dangerous, guys. And they're going to take everyone's guns too. So no one's going to be able to protect themselves. Amid the unrest, Trump has expressed sympathy for victims of police brutality, as he has, while taking a tough law and order stance, expressing support for law enforcement and vowing to protect the victims of riots, which have resulted in businesses large and small set ablaze and devastated by looting. He recently argued that Biden in the White House would undercut public safety. There wouldn't be no such thing as public safety, guys. We'd have to walk on eggshells around these domestic terrorists. And the minute George Soros, Obama, Biden, Communist Chinese Party is annoyed with something, that very annoyance is going to be handled by their little Antifas or whoever the hell they're going to have patrolling the streets. Pimps, I don't know. Tucker did a story that pimps are also going to be patrolling the streets. So no one's going to, there's not going to be such thing as civil rights, human rights. That's going to be something of the past. That's only going to apply to George Soros. The people who have money, the people who are imposing the violence, they're the only ones that's going to have supposed human rights, civil rights. They're going to be protected. Everyone else is going to go, is going to be left vulnerable for whatever they may feel is due to those people, violence or death. So no one will be safe in Biden's America. And Trump said, my administration will always stand with men and women of law enforcement. And he blamed local Democratic politicians for inaction in the face of riots. And it's not only inaction, but it's completely pro-action in waging war on your own citizens, which is the Democrats have been doing. George Soros, all these, they're all doing it. So in the strongest possible rants, or the strongest possible terms, the Republican Party condemns rioting, looting, arson, violence that we've seen in Democratic-run cities like Kenosha, Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago, New York, and many others, Democrat-run cities and states. So